There are many good edit binds to choose from in Fortnite, so in this video I will be comparing and testing out different popular edit keybinds to find out which is the best and fastest one. For each edit bind I test, I will show my gameplay of the best result I got on an edit course while also briefly giving a summary of what I think of the keybind. At the end, I'll rank all these different edit binds and you can take it into consideration when choosing a new edit bind. With that said, let's jump into the video. First up, we have the famous G key for editing. Lots of pros like Clicks are still using this bind, but I personally don't recommend it. If you don't know already, Clicks actually presses the G key with his thumb, and that's why this edit bind is optimal for him. This edit bind is really hard to hit rapidly. My hand is roughly 19 centimeters long, and I struggle to press it even without building. If you want to use something similar to G key, then F would be the best choice. I'd give the G key a 6 out of 10. Moving on to the F key, which is used by pros such as Booga and Mongrel, we can see a massive improvement in terms of speed and consistency from the G key. The two clips that you are watching right now are both my first attempts of using this keybind. It comes to show how much easier it is to get better at using this keybind. It is a really good edit bind and I highly recommend it. I give this edit bind a 9 out of 10. Next, we have the famous E bind, used by pros such as Benji Fishy and Ronaldo. I personally use this as my edit key, so obviously I'm going to praise it highly. This edit bind allows you to quickly press weapon keys and makes switching back and forth between D easy. Between E and F, I would choose the E key because it is slightly more comfortable and more ergonomic for most people to use. However, like all the edit keys I mentioned before, they're all not as flexible as other edit binds that you tap with your pinky or thumb, which I will get into later. Overall, I give the E bind a 9.5 out of 10. Sitting beside the E key, we have the R key. The R key is used by pros like Mr. Savage. In my opinion, the R key should only be used if you can't use E or F. R is a great bind to have, but I personally wouldn't use it simply because the E key is literally the direct upgrade. It's also slightly angled in a way where pressing it fast is a bit difficult. Instead of using R as an edit bind, I would use it as either the harvesting tool or one of the weapon binds. So to top things off, I give R an 8 out of 10. Now onto edit binds we can hit with our thumb is the C key, which is used by pros such as Reverse 2K. If I have to be completely honest here, I think the C key is horrible for editing, since if you're going to hit it with your index, there are way better options to choose from like the ones I mentioned before. The same goes for hitting it with your thumb. If you want to edit with your thumb, then use V. The thing that makes this bind so bad is that no matter which finger you use to press it, it's always going to be a bit awkward and hard to hit fast. To sum it all up, don't use C for editing unless you don't have any other choice. I rate the C key a 7 out of 10. V was the recommendation I gave for people who wants to edit with a thumb. It was also used by the legend Tfue. V is the best thumb edit keybind because it sits aligned with your thumb, meaning you don't have to tilt or make any weird adjustments to press the key. If you edit with edit on release, then V is a solid choice, sometimes even better than E and F. This is due to the fact that edit on release doesn't require fast clicking motion and V grants you full control over the movement keys even when editing. Since it is such a versatile keybind, I give V a 9.5 out of 10. Pinky binds are now up, and the first one is going to be Shift. Shift is used by the best IGL chap and by the Oceania legend Fresh. Just like V, Shift is a great edit bind if you use edit on release since you don't need the fastest clicks. Moreover, you can have perfect movement if you use Shift for edit. If you have a strong pinky or you're willing to train your pinky, then Shift is an edit bind that I highly recommend. I give Shift a 9 out of 10. Another good pinky bind / ring finger bind that people can try is Caps Lock. FaZe Dubs is one of the few pros that use caps locks, which is not surprising since caps lock is basically a replacement for Shift and Q. It's an adequate bind, but if you can use Q or Shift, use those over caps lock. Caps lock is a bit hard to hit with your pinky and awkward with the ring finger, so I am going to give it a 7 out of 10. Last keybind we have for test is Q. From my knowledge, I don't think there's any well-known pro that uses Q for edit. However, it's not very surprising despite it being the best possible bind for the ring finger. Q is probably the worst edit bind out of all the binds tested in this video. Funny enough, I used to use Q as my edit key until I found difficulties when trying to do triple edits. It's hard to hit Q rapidly, especially when you're trying to strafe left. It limits your right angle peaks, so I don't recommend using this as an edit bind. I give Q a 6 out of 10. With all these edit binds tested, I can finally rank out all of them accordingly. In my opinion, the top 2 best edit binds are V and Shift because they allow you to edit with full movement. Coming at 3rd best, we have the famous E key, which allows for super fast and consecutive edits. The rest are as follows: F, caps lock, R, C, G, and Q. Hopefully this video helped you on deciding which edit bind to use. Consider dropping a sub, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.